little four-step process. And I was thinking of Ethan when I kind of did several cycles of it, and I had Samantha do it, and I started experimenting on everybody around me, and I think it could be quite the thing. Like it would still use the pine, but I made this blend that's going to be in the next new class, but it's what I call it, urinary stress blend.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
it just basically takes the stress out of the kidneys, out of the bladder, out of the sex chakra, the Ming Men, just that whole area. But I found that it was hitting the psoas and it was hitting like the lower lumbar. And I mean, even just a little bit, I've done it. I thought my back was feeling fine, and now
Yeah.
it's so much better that I'm like, apparently it wasn't fine. I mean, my back has felt better than it's felt in a very long time. And I did this process and I was like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
and so, you do that blend, you do Sylvester Pine, and then you do Helichrysum, and then
Okay.
Nerve
I
Health.
actually
And then
was,
it's just a very simple pattern, but if he would do a little protocol, I think it would help his back stuff substantially, like crazy amounts.
that's funny because I was talking to him today, and because I was looking at
Mhm.
you guys as your email on Monday, and I was very close to taking the class this weekend. I was actually talking to Prawn Parade about it, and she's like, yeah. And I knew
You
she
mean the
was
last weekend? We can
yeah,
just get you the recording. Yeah.
yeah, so I really want to go through it because I knew there was going to be something in there that was going to help us out. And then I saw the email and I went, okay, I got to recheck in with Ethan. And when I was talking to Ethan today, and I'm like, look, what do you think about doing some meditations on this stuff?
Mhm.
And he's like, Mom, I knew you were going to ask me that. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, we're getting there.
Okay.
Um, and I am very much like, if that's in there and that's in that protocol, like, I really think he would be up for it. He's done a class with you once before recording,
Okay.
and he really enjoyed it because I shared it with him. And so I'm thinking, yeah, I'll go
So
ahead
I
and
can make it so that it's like a little like 15-minute protocol.
that would be
And
fantastic.
so you probably have like two or three of the oils. So we can just make like a little tiny thing of the urinary stress blend.
Oh,
And
you know me, I'll get whatever
yeah,
is needed.
yeah.
So,
I'll write it up. I'll send you the protocol. Like I'll do it
okay.
tonight or tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah. I think we're
Okay.
gonna post it again even in the newsletter on Monday, but
Oh, that's a good idea.
yeah, like more we did one for just like incontinence and stuff on the newsletter, but this is a much more involved treatment, and I think we're going to add that next. So
Yeah,
because
I'm.
the thing that I found very interesting is I was watching the students
Mhm.
mm, during the class is you're basically toning these three areas. And even going back to what we were talking about earlier in the ORIC programming, if you were there, we did a thing on the physical heart. And
Yep.
people were talking about how it just took them out of a stress state and everything. So the heart, the lung, the respiratory tract, the digestive tract, and the urinary tract, all heavily impacted by the tone of the vagus nerve.
Yep.
And so, and it would be how our body pulls out of a stress state and how, it repairs and all those things. And so, I don't know. I think that as I was watching the students, when we hit the urinary tract, because we were talking like as the class was happening, I was like, I don't know that we've ever put the urinary tract in a class other than just me lecturing about it. Like we've never done, it might be a little bit in there, but we've never done these like, half a day of like, let's grind on the urinary tract. And I
Mhm.
watched the students, and in several students, the stress levels dropped substantially. Like
Mhm.
kind of mind-boggling. I mean, that's why we kept experimenting with it. I was like, I've known this a bit, like through the years doing healing, but I even watching the students, I was surprised. Like I was like, this could be another form of just managing stress and taking the body into and like when we started doing that on you, like sometimes like Samantha, like either how she sleeps or, if we had a long day before, she'll wake up with a little bit of a like headache and it's in her eye a little bit. And after about an hour or so in the morning, it kind of goes away. And it'll be maybe there for a little tiny bit, but it goes away. And so she woke up with it and we did this little process. And I mean, it went away like fast and like no, like you get a little bit of like a linger or a hangover or something where yeah, it's there, but it's fading. It was just gone. And I was like, boy, we just had had long days. It wasn't like anything was crazy or anything, but even that can be a stress. And so I don't know. I'm liking this. I'm really liking the version of it was already in this next upcoming class, but this is even like just kind of taking that and making a whole little protocol that's just for like low back, lumbar, psoas, hips, pelvis, pelvic floor, bladder, kidneys, just the whole 9 yards. It just hits that whole area.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. All right. All right.
And it's simple. Like it's just a couple of steps. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Really.